There it is. Okay. Well, welcome back to Musing about Muses. Today, our guest is Charles Gilchrist. Hey, Charles. Charles is a sacred geometry artist. He did the cover of my book and many pieces that are here in my office as well. And Charles, talk about your muse. You have a very interesting muse because it's sacred geometry.
That's true.
Yeah. Now, when works come to you, I know you just finished a new piece.
Right.
When works come to you, how does your muse work for you?
Well, I'm locked into what's called sacred geometry,
Mm-hmm.
which is a proof that there is some kind of intellect at the root of the universe. These forms that,
mm-hmm.
like the simple pi and phi,
Mm-hmm.
those are realities
Mm-hmm.
that are part of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And those forms make up what's known as sacred geometry.
Mm-hmm.
Circle, square, bispirals,
Mm-hmm.
all those things are sacred geometry.
And if you think about the creation of the Muses in Greek mythology, that was also always around the time of Euclid and the mathematicians and Pythagoras and all of those thinkers who understood those kind of connections.
Yes. Yeah, it's been there. It's always been there.
Yeah. And I know that you're a real fan of Da Vinci, especially the works that you've done around what's that one piece, the man, the Da Vinci's
the man in the geometric form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Vitruvian Man.
Yeah, the Vitruvian
Right.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're right. Correct.
And I know that you've done a lot of work with that. And
yes, I have.
Yeah. And what are some of your insights that you've derived from that?
From the Vitruvian Man?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that again is phi ratio stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just also interconnected. It's hard to explain it that clearly.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do is I take these forms and I create paintings out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're mandalas. They're meditational mandalas.
Right.
And they put me in touch with the universe in a very pure, unarguable way.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a reality, and you can't deny it.
Right.
And that is the link that I use in all my mandala work. So it's all related to sacred geometry. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense to you.
Very much so. And so you like jam with different geometric forms.
Yes.
So you have to have an original inspiration that, I want to work with this 13 circles, or I want to work with. So that's what comes to you when you get inspired to do a work. Huh?
Yeah, right. Sometimes they roll. Sometimes they just show up. Sometimes it's a Shamanic series that I work on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to explain here. But like for instance, if you would go to my website, you would see like tons of various mandalas that are all based on sacred geometry.
Right, different shapes, different
shapes,
angles,
different variations,
stars,
different mathematics.
Yeah.
And those things are very beautiful to me.
Yeah.
And they're also put me in touch with a spiritual aspect of the universe, which is undeniable.
Because of
it's not like some kind of religious position. Mm-hmm. It's a mathematical, geometric reality.
Right. So there's nothing to believe because it's there.
Well, you can't not believe it.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So it's not hard.
Yeah.
And It's old, very old. People, have seen this for so long, and Leonardo was one of the guys
Hmm.
who did.
I was just thinking also like of the Egyptians and their respect for
Of
geometry that
course,
went into the pyramids and
of
all
course. Look
that.
at the pyramids.
Yeah,
To 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 put that much energy and time and money and energy into creating something like that means you're very serious.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
And they were, and they're very turned on to it.
And then when you take your mind over to the Americas in Central America and South America and the pyramids and all the things that were created there out of sacred geometry.
Yeah, it's interesting, for instance, that the Native American people used the circle as their home.
Ah,
The teepee was geometric
yeah, it was a
by
cone.
nature, and they lived in a circle.
Yeah, yeah, and they had the sacred circles too that we'll be getting into. Um, I remember like Chichen Itza in northern Mexico has 91 steps up each of the four sides. That's 364, and then the altar on top was 365.
Yeah, it's everywhere. When you start looking, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
So I could continue to make mandalas and paintings, drawings, and things like that. I could do that, for the rest of my life,
yeah,
and I plan on
yeah.
it.
That's the beauty of musing about muses.
Yeah.
No, and if you want,
And the geometric reality within the human uh, study body, the
mhm,
body itself, the forms, the shapes, the proportions, the mathematics of it. The like these joints in here, the way they move from this size to that size to that size to that size. That all those all that mathematics is all through our entire body,
yeah,
and it's undeniable.
yeah, yeah. It's the beauty of nature itself.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Now, if you're interested, um, Charles's work is available for you to view and study as well. If you go to charlesgilchrist.com, also YouTube, you've got a really nice presence on YouTube where
Yes, I
you've done
do.
some classes.
Yes, I do. And I have three inner working uh, uh, realities on the internet, which
Yeah.
is one of them is my actual website, was charlesgilchrist.com,
Hmm.
and the other one it's what I'm working on now, in sacred geometry business,
Hmm.
and so there's that page,
Hmm.
and there's another page which I'm slipping now. I'm slipping.
That's okay.
I'm losing it. But
Yeah, that's all right. But I mean, just going from there, it'll take any of the people who are studying this in the future into a whole um, a collection of your work and the things that you've done.
right, in three forms.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's available for you too. So I want to thank Charles Gilchrist for joining us here on Musing About Muses. And it's interesting because several times during our interview, we got to the point where we were beyond words.
That does happen all the time.
Right. And that's where the muses come in.
It's hard to know where to start,
Yeah.
and except that the single point, is so critical
Uh-huh.
to the entire reality of the universe.
Hmm.
And it's at the center of the circle. Bingo.
Interesting. And you're at kind of like the same point right now because you just finished a work. So a new work is just starting to formulate within you.
Yeah, I'm working on all kinds of things, and the latest thing I've done is a relationship between this 5-spiral,
Mm-hmm.
which is a spiral that creates a proportional reality, and it's undeniable.
And when I look at that work that you're describing, it's almost three-dimensional and on a two-dimensional.
It's two-dimensional.
Yeah, but it looks three-dimensional.
It looks three-dimensional. Well, the painting is three-dimensional.
Yeah.
But the geometry itself is two-dimensional. So there are two-dimensional. I mean, like the relationship between the circle and the sphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just a two-dimensional reality and the three-dimensional reality.
Mm-hmm.
And there's fourth-dimensional realities, and there's all kinds of realities, and they all start out of this single point.
Pretty wild. So thank you for being on our Musing About Muses. Here's one of Charles' works on my shirt.
Beg your pardon?
Here's one of Charles's works on my shirt.
Oh yeah, that's right.